The cadets swarmed in, trying to get a seat. There were clearly more cadets here today. Professor Hargan stretched his wings while patiently waiting for the cadets to find their places. He spotted a few new faces as well. Apparently, the rumor of what he was teaching had spread. The large theater-like room was filled to the brim now, and he knew why there was her. I thought he would not start with them. Welcome back, and welcome to our new students. I'm pretty sure you are not a cadet, Major Gustar, but you welcome nonetheless. The Major was a thin humanoid who would be mistaken for a human if not for three major differences. His orange, almost golden skin, large pointy ears, and a pointed tail. The Major was sitting with members of his species, the Huartsu. Hargan was pretty sure the beautiful younger woman next to him was his daughter. So let's us start. He opened with a hologram of a training field filled with different species, all focused on some sport, the most common being speed running and weight training. Some young males were into combat training. As you can all see, once we reach our adolescent years, we all tend to become more physical, trying to find a mate or at least impress one. We form packs and bound with our pack or herd. There's nothing special about this. You all just went through this and you know what to look for now. You can see again that those species that, as children, focus on speed and evasion prefer fast movement. Those who are not so fast focus on strength and intimidation. You see a strong focus on wrestling. It's a noble sport. Don't try it with humans. At the mere mention of humans, the crowd got more focused. Yeah, I know who you want to learn about, so let's go look. The screen changed and they saw the same as before. The humans were doing all of it. They ran, climbed, swam, and played different team sports involving balls of different sizes. The cadets just felt confused. They had expected to see a battlefield of teenage boys killing each other for the honor of a mating. Instead, they saw team building and boys forming packs for friendly competition. A light buzzed, and Prof. Hargan saw it was, "Yes, Cadet Jarnus? Sir? I'm confused. Why are they less violent now? I don't see any combat, just sports." Hargan chuckled. "Well, that's because this is their school activity. Let's see what they do when they leave the campus." The hologram changed to a sports center, and they saw young boys and girls doing even harder physical training and what appeared to be a combat ring. Two teens were beating the crap out of each other wearing nothing but shorts and gloves. There were kicks, strikes, and grappling, though no weapons. They watched the match as it ended, expecting the loser to end his life, but instead, they got up and hugged and laughed. Another team came in and took their place as the two went to an instructor to be told what they did right and wrong. The two were clearly friends. The hologram then changed to another center where archery was the only activity. As you can see, they fight for fun and still practice old-style weapons for fun. Some humans even know how to use a sling for deadly activity. But this here is not the scariest thing about them. It's what other things they do. They're non-physical games. As he spoke, the hologram changed to a single human teenage boy sitting in front of a hologram. He was playing a game. I'm going to just tap into his screen so you can see what he is playing. Oh, the boy is a merely 13 years old, entering his adolescent years. The hologram showed a huge multi-level combat scenario. There was a space battle, and the dropship involved atmospheric combat with escort fighter planes against anti-air missiles and a defending air force. At the same time, he controlled one side of the ongoing ground combat. The combat was intense, and overall, all they could hear was the teenage boys cracking voices shit-talking his opponent. The opponent had a deeper voice and was clearly getting angry at how the boy was trashing his forces. The Major stood up and just walked down towards the stage. "Is this true? Is this true? He commands all those troops." Hargan stopped and nodded, and then the screen zoomed out. The boy was playing and drinking some liquor, clearly not taking the combat seriously. "I am very serious, sir. But the command doesn't want to listen to me, and his opponent will surprise you even more." Hargan looked at the Major as the screen showed the opponent. A Dorican officer was working his four limbs across the two keyboards to counter the attacks. His hologram gaming console was state-of-the-art and twice as effective as the teenagers, but his tactics and own reaction time were slower. The Major looked at him. "What game are they playing?" "The latest battle simulator of the Dorican Military Academy." The humans stole it and sold it as entertainment for their children. The major took a deep breath. The cadets watched the two. How did got that from them? Hargan smirked. I was going to cover it for the last class. But the humans have their own games. Any major battle is turned into a game once the battle is declassified. There is a company that makes them as a series called Battlefield 3000. That gives you a first-person experience of entering the battlefield. And the kids excel in these games. This is one of the reasons humans use so many drone soldiers. They are not fighting you. They are playing you. Although they also have their own version of these strategy games, again, a teenager could, in theory, play every major battle the humans have been involved in from the last 50 years up to 10 years to 5 years in every possible position of the battle. Hell, they will make media games where you must repair fight crafts as quickly as possible so the pilot can get back into the fight. However, right now, I was going to show them what happens if you give human teenagers guns. The major nodded and returned to his seat as the cadets prepared for the carnage to appear on the hologram. Except when it appeared, they were all disappointed. The human teenagers treated the weapons with respect. They seemed focused and concentrated. Looks boring, right? They feel the same way, so they invented guys that don't kill. They simply tag you. And here is what happens if you give them those weapons. As a reward, they saw the wild chaos of a tag battle with grenades, guns, and even knives. The humans seemed to approach it as a game. There was laughter and jokes, but the moment one player got hurt, the game stopped. The wounded teenager, who had fallen down from a roof and broken a foot, was escorted to a medic. Once he was secured, they were back at it again. What you witnessed is perhaps the most important lesson. A human can quickly go from laughter to deadly seriousness and back to laughter in seconds. For me, this is the essence of humanity. They adjust just too quickly for us, and they can control their emotion to the point that loss of emotional control is considered a loss of honor. There are few accepted times for losing your emotional control. In combat, that is called going berserk, and it's a horrible sight to behold. Imagine all you have seen be focused into a cold rage that appears to be mindless. But the only mindless part that is gone is the emotional control. And they can all do it. Every single one. Even the fat old grandma. He watched them as he started a hologram showing a middle-aged woman beating up 2 Bandorian pirates who had shot her dog. It was not a nice sight. The Bandorian were green lizard-like creatures with blue and silver skin, for arms, and a powerful tail. The grandma had grabbed a stick and wielded it like a maniac, killing one of them and chasing the other away. Don't mess with their furry friends. That rage is, for some strange reason, called John Wick. Yes, they have named their berserk rages, and it's quite acceptable. There is also the mama bear, extremely deadly, which occurs if you attack one of their children. Anyway, back to the adolescent. The boys tend to fare more violent at this time of their life, and if they can, they will form gangs and get into trouble. He stopped and took a deep breath, knowing the next part would be difficult for the cadets to understand. So much trouble that they had to make their own prison system for them called Juvenile Detention Center. As he spoke, such Juvenile Detention Center was shown, filled with teenage boys lounging about under armed guard. Yes, they have teenagers that are so criminal that they need to be put under arms, and by armed it's deadly force armed guard. Took about 5 minutes for the cadets to calm down. Professor Hargan just waited, and he continued when it was quiet enough. Humans take their offspring very seriously. They do this to remove those with little self-control from the population so the rest can feel safe. They don't tolerate their children behaving like beasts, so don't try to act like one around them. They will put you down for the good of whatever group they belong to. In the next class, we will get into the more let's say that I was once told a human male has 2 demons sitting on his shoulder. One asks him to fight everything, and the other asks him to mate with everything. Sometimes the same thing. So tomorrow we will discuss the mating part and how that affects their ability to wage war.